Hey.
So, so I have an announcement. I am part of the Asian American Pacific Islander Coalition, and we're hosting Lunar New Year this weekend, or tomorrow actually. And I would like to invite you to come. It's in the Gandhi King Center, in the multi-purpose room. We are going to talk about how it is culturally known as Lunar New Year's, but people always says Chinese New Year's, so we're going to learn about that. I will be presenting on that, and also that there's going to be fun activities, like we're going to have origami, free food if you guys want, especially if there's any seniors. No new plans, so come eat. We'll have lanterns. We're going to be making lanterns. We're also going to do karaoke, so please come and have fun. I don't know if there's any freshmen in here, but it's also core approved, so come and learn about Lunar New Year.
Good stuff.
So yeah, it's tomorrow at 6:30 in the Gandhi King Center. Please come, and if you do come, please wear red, because red is a symbol of washing away the bad spirits from the for the past year.
So I'm wearing all red. You gotta get it away.
Yeah, and we have free food, so it's from China House. If you guys like China House,
I love China House.
So please come and enjoy this event with us. I'm gonna mention that there's other celebrations going on too, but they cost money and ours is free, so you should not come. Dr. Rose knows what I'm talking about. So. Anyways, today I'm going to give a speech. There was a quote by Abraham Lincoln that states that how power affects people's true identity. His quote says, "Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power." I believe this is true for some. People do change when they're given power. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Mexican Revolution and how it affected their indigenous people and how it continues to affect the future. How I'm going to talk about this is I'm going to state how and why did the Mexican Revolution begin, how it was the first third world uprising against American economic, political, and cultural expansion, and what happened to traders during the Mexican Revolution. It is relevant to us today because currently in the news and in the past, the government has been talking about the imbalance of tax cut between the wealth and the working class. The proposed bill states that it will not affect the wealthy class. However, the bill will cut taxes for the working class, which means the more they work, the less they will receive. Therefore, the lack of checks and balances that is currently affecting the American today were the same reasons why the Mexican Revolution began. Being half Mexican, I wanted to know more about the culture and major events that affected during the time. Therefore, I did research that helped me better understand the Mexican Revolution, and hopefully you will get an insight of its importance. My first point will be talking about Porfirio Diaz. Diaz was a young general of the French wars who recognized that there was a need for political stability and foreign investment. With the need, he started to recruit people to help him make the change for the Mexican people. Initially, he began by recruiting bandit groups to become royal police to enforce security and remove any lawless acts that happened. After getting the necessary law enforcement, Diaz wanted to get investors on his side. With his connections to America and Europe, he promoted Mexico's stability by asking for funds. These investors were delighted to contribute to Diaz's stability plan, and thus the foreign investors increased Diaz's political power and wealth within his inner circle. Secondly, I would like to note the lack of checks and balances. As the investors continued to grow, Diaz's focus was more on the wealth and the power he was gaining. Those who supported Diaz became wealthy and powerful by becoming business owners and landowners, while those of the working class became infuriated and outraged. The native working class was not receiving the payments as those of the European or American workers. The foreign workers were given more money, better care, and a future for their family. Thus, the labor organization in Mexico was corrupt to how badly they treated their own workers versus foreign workers. This political disruption enrages Mexican workers and they began to revolt for their rights. The tension between the lower class and their demand for social justice was a concern for Mexico's political and social stability. However, the Diaz administration brushed off the issue and focused on the economic growth. But since Diaz investors are benefiting from the wealth, the quality of life for the average worker was declining dramatically. They were denied basic needs and were left to suffer. Therefore, the indigenous people fought their rights and for their land. This image right here shows all the indigenous people that went and fought for their land. Women fought too, men, and children of age have fought for their country. What? Oh. Lastly, I wanted to point out what happened to traders. A famous trader was Wenceslao Mugo. Wenceslao Mugo joined up the revolution fighting on the side of the Allies and because he was inexperienced, they were captured. Once captured, he was ordered to execution without trial. The firing squad, all eight of them, took turns firing at him. And the general in charge took his last turn. He walked to his body and made sure that he was dead. Then he tossed his body into a pit. However, he had survived. He had survived this gruesome shot to the head and walked away, and knowing that this was a change for many people, that he had survived. So in review, the Mexican Revolution was based on gaining political and economic stability within the country. However, Diaz became powerful and forgot about the checks and balances. As the wealth got wealthier and the working class declined, the mistreatment caused the rebellion to begin. The lack of checks and balances in Mexico causes the poor and working class to revolt for their rights. However, the damage of fighting against Diaz, they were executed without a trial, just like Wenceslao. However, the Mugo survived and demonstrated how their actions backfired to the enemy. The Mexican Revolution was about political stability in the country. However, power took over Diaz's mind. This power led to workers not being treated correctly, and a rebellion began. If one would like to repair the stability in their country, they must focus on their people, not on the power they are gaining. Thank you.